Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your Leeds versus Arsenal live watch-along in the Premier League, 3 o'clock. Hope you're all doing very well. First of 3 watch-alongs today because we've got Chelsea-West Ham at 5:30 and of course Liverpool against Newcastle at 8 p.m. How are you all doing? Hope you're all doing really, really well. I'm not doing too bad. My back's bloody killing me again, but I've got a bit of a heat pad on my arse, basically. Not that far down, but it is there. And look, very excited to see what happens today. Morning from Chicago, says KJ. Yeah, let us know where you're watching from in the chat. Give you a shout out. But Ellen Road, a traditional, for me, a traditional Premier League ground. I mean, they weren't always in the Premier League, were they, to be fair? But they are now, and they're doing very, very well. Certainly defying logic. It's Yoshi, welcome to Members Club. Leeds teams on the screen, we'll go through Arsenal in a minute. There is a couple of other 3 o'clocks going on at the moment, at 3 o'clock. Brighton, Everton, and Wolves against Bournemouth. And then, of course, we've got the other 2 games at 5:30 and 8 o'clock. Lovely stuff. However, this is a huge game for Arsenal. As we know, the league table doesn't lie, and they are top, but they do leave the door ajar if they don't win today. 4-point lead at the top. Man City play Spurs tomorrow. Villa play Brentford at home tomorrow. Conceivably, the gap could get down to 2 points tomorrow. If Arsenal don't win and draw, and then Man City and Villa win, the gap is 2 points. So I would say that there's going to be a lot more games like this, and there has been some games like this already this season. However, we are starting to get to the point in the Premier League where games are games that you might look back on in future and go, that's where the slip started or the bottle job started. And Leeds away for Arsenal is a must-win game. I feel that he's got to, Arteta, I refer to here, he's got to let the handbrake off. I mean, I was very, very grateful that he didn't against Man United because it played into our hands. I think for half an hour they dominated possession, they got the goal, and then weirdly they sort of thought, well, we'll defend it, and that played into our hands. We got confident, we scored 3. So, and remember, Man United should have scored before the Mbeumo goal as well. There was some poor defending. So I think Arsenal just need to enjoy what they've got. They've got a 4-point lead. They've got some brilliant attacking players. Saka takes too many touches, and he's not even in the team, Saka, actually. Saka got injured in the warm-up. I'm sure I saw he was in the team. Saka out, yeah. A few people in the chat telling me that. I was going to say, I really did see that Saka was in the team because it's Madueke now. It's Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapié, Havertz, Zubimendi and Rice. And then Madueke, Gyökeres and Trossard. And Odegaard, who is apparently better than Paul Scholes and the captain of Arsenal in the chat, is on the bench. But no Saka. I mean, this might... Look, Arsenal fans are not going to like what I'm about to say. However, I actually think for what you need to do, Madueke is more direct. Saka takes too many touches. Madueke is not better than Saka. However, for the way I think you need to play, you need to be a little bit quicker, a little bit more direct, and Madueke will give you that. So, look, Saka's a better player, but I wouldn't be necessarily too worried. Andy says, what about Havertz instead of Odegaard? Eze must wonder. Well, look, they've just got to win the game. Jesse says Saka injured. So am I right in saying that Saka got injured in the warm-up? Is that what happened? Let me know in the chat. Please do. Oh, Dr. Pepper Cherry, get in there. Why is it not? Here it is. There we go. Fair play, it came in a day. I have my NFL Super Bowl watch along a week tomorrow night, so I've started ordering the sweets and drinks in, and I got 12 of these Dr. Pepper Cherry in, so lovely stuff. Only 160 calories in a can. That's a lot. I must admit that is a lot. I'll just sip it. Looks like he's done his hamstring, says Hassie. Yeah. Well, some people say it tastes like fizzy Benylin, which for me is a bonus. To be honest, I like Dr. Pepper. I had some cream soda ones last year and strawberry and cream one, which was nice. But I love cherry Coca-Cola, cherry Coke. So I went for that. No drunk bridge. Well, I had a couple of ginger ales last night, and then when I'd finished my Bundesliga stream, I dropped a couple of caramel Krakens in, and I had a stomachache. And I figured out my stomachache. I was on the stream last night, and I was like, I've got a really bad stomachache, and I went to bed, I had a really bad night's sleep. Woke up, felt okay. Bad back's been hurting me, so I rubbed some ibuprofen gel into my back, went for a walk, and felt sick again. I have some sort of allergy to ibuprofen. It makes me constipated if I take the tablets, and if I rub it into my back, it still hits my stomach. So I figured it out now. Have you tried the dark cherry Kraken? Lovely. Yeah, I've got the normal Kraken, I've got the dark cherry Kraken, and I got a caramel one bought for me from one of our producers, Sarah, for Christmas, which is very nice as well. But my favourite is black cherry. I love that. Andy's talking about Havertz. Thanks very much for your super chat. Look, I think this is a really intriguing game. Arsenal have to win, but we've not even spoken about Leeds. I mean, we should speak about Leeds, because when you look at the league table for Leeds at the moment, they are what? Well, let's have a look. They're 6 points clear from safety, and that's a lot of points. I mean, I've got to say, for Leeds, when you look at the newly promoted teams over the last few years, they've really struggled to get even near 25 points at the end of the season. So I'm thinking if West Ham are going to start winning games, maybe even today, I can see, and this is a positive, I can see a scenario whereby, wow, sorry, I'm just watching something on the telly. I'm not going to tell you what. Wow. Okay. You don't know what I'm watching. You can't get in trouble. The point is, it's over now. The point is, oh God, it took my mind away. What was I talking about before then? Yeah, I actually think that the relegation might go traditional. We might be looking at a situation where there are 40 points. 40 points is safety now, you know? There we go. If you were watching Soccer Saturday, you'd have seen the advert I was on about there. I'm not saying anything more than that. It was on an ad break. If anybody shouts the name of the advert in the chat, I'll be very surprised. But yeah. Okay, right. Thanks everybody who's tuning in. We've got nearly 5,000 legends tuning in for this today. The first, a trilogy on That's Football. We've got Arsenal at Leeds now. We've then got 5:30, Chelsea host West Ham. And then 8 o'clock tonight, Liverpool against Newcastle. Which, when you look at that league table, Liverpool need to win and Newcastle need to win, because Chelsea and Man United are starting to take those Champions League spots away. Those top 5 will be in the Champions League. That is a big, big game. Very, very big game indeed. Dr. Pepper Strawberries and Cream is very nice. I had that last year, Light Angel. It is very nice, you're right. It wasn't Tenor Lady, Dino. I need to know the advert. I'm never going to put that out there because the missus might hear it, go back and look at it, and then I'll be in trouble. It was a car advert, basically. She doesn't want me to buy another car. Yeah. Ezzy should be starting, says Francis. And this is the week when the gaps start to appear, says Ez. Well, I hope so. I really do hope so. That would be really useful. What's this an advert for? What's that undersalt marsh like? Is it any good? I might give it a watch. Who do I fancy? I think I fancy Arsenal. As I said, I'm not saying for 1 second that Eze is better than Saka. But remember at the start of the season when Saka got injured and he did really well. I think that might be key. But look, Arsenal need to send a message today. I'm going to say this. If Arsenal don't win, they're opening the door to a collapse. If you want to win the title, you've got to do that. Red Flamed says, where were you going during your latest driving with Goldbridge? When did I film that? I'm trying to think. Was it When did it went out? Friday. If you've not watched Driving with Goldbridge, why? If you have watched it, legends, thank you very much. It's in a battle with Cooking with Goldbridge at the moment to who gets commissioned to do a series of 2 months. So Driving with Goldbridge this week, Cooking with Goldbridge last week. There's going to be a vote at some point, and the winner gets a run of 2 months of shows, and the other one has to wait until it comes back, and it'll be decided by you. But I was going to the shops. You can't do a Driving with Goldbridge just to take your car out. Not when you're driving like an SUV like that. It's Greta would go mad. As if I would just go driving just for the purpose of content. No, I was going to the shops. Leeds win today, says Martin. Well, we're up and running here. It's a difficult place to go to, Leeds. Rajaf says, now that Man United sat down Arsenal, Madueke and Odegaard, Aura Watch is back. We are about to witness footballing excellence. Just to let you know, Rajaf, that corner to Arsenal here, Odegaard's on the bench for Havertz. So it looks like Arteta has had enough of his captain, because it's Gabriel as captain and it's Odegaard on the bench. We will keep you updated with Brighton against Everton and Wolves against Bournemouth. Me and Robbie are doing, what have we got? I think we've got some differentials here. He went with a draw in the Brighton-Everton game. I've gone with Brighton, and he went with the Bournemouth win against Wolves, and I went with a draw. So I need some points. Early corner here, Madueke, Arsenal. And headed away. Yeah, they've got to exert their authority. You don't want to see Arsenal taking loads of touches this morning, this afternoon. Or it could be this morning. Never take it on an empty stomach, says Prophet. What? Could be talking about anything. Timber puts a good cross in. Good defending by Leeds. Why did I get timed out for saying I love driving? I don't know. Ken. I've got an early goal in the 3 p.m s. Robbie Williams will be happy. It's Kyle John for Port Vale in the 2nd minute. I'll tell you what, that's a good Netflix documentary series. I really enjoyed the Take That one. Thanks for your super chats anyway, Rajaf. Appreciate you. How are we doing on subscribers anyway? Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. We are, oh, come on. 453,000. We're only 150 away, so make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Thanks, everyone. Get involved with That's Football. Some very exciting stuff coming up this year with That's Football. If last year wasn't exciting enough with the Bundesliga, we've got some really good stuff that we're looking to do as well. Rajaf's going mad. He says, what the F? I'm at the gym and I didn't know Odegaard wasn't starting. Yeah, no start for Odegaard. He's gone with Havertz. No start for Saka. I believe he was in the team, but when I turned it on, everyone was going, Saka out, Saka out, Saka out. I think he might have got injured in the warm-up because he's not on the bench either. Wrexham winning again. I've had a shave, yeah. I actually think with shorter hair, I look better with more facial hair. And I think with longer hair, I look better with less. It's almost like swap and swap, isn't it? I was tempted not to shave, but it was getting quite long. But I think with the shorter hair, the stubble looks better. But it was getting on my nerves. So there we go. 25 minutes to go to the shops, says Quad. Sorry, Quad, I didn't realise there was a bloody time limit on when you can go to the shops. I really like this house, but I've just timed it and it's 28 minutes to drive to the shop, so I won't be buying it. Well, what's that got to do with the price of bread? But if I want to drive 40 minutes to the shops, I'll bloody... Oh, sorry, relatives. Quad said you're 29 minutes away, so the kids won't be seeing you forever. Bloody hell. Lovely play by Madueke. That's the quick speed we want to see. In general. In general, really. AI says, with the shorter hair, you can't see your grey hair as much. It's still there. I was talking to my hairdresser about it, actually. I was saying about I'm getting more and more grey hair. And he was saying, yeah, it'd be very difficult to dye your hair. And I said, I'm not bloody going to dye it. There's nothing wrong with being a silver fox. And he said, no, but I'm just saying it would be hard to dye your hair because you've got quite a unique colour in the sense of it's sort of ash with grey in it and stuff like that. And if you dyed it, you might look a bit like a prat. And I said, what, like Steven Gerrard? He said, yeah, exactly like that. Because Gerrard's had his hair dyed, hasn't he? And it's just the colour that his hair wasn't before. I just think let it... If you've got dark hair, you can dye your hair easily. But I think if you like brown hair, blonde hair, leave it. Leeds are on the attack here. Don't count out Leeds. Be a lot of Man City fans, a lot of Villa fans, and anybody that doesn't want Arsenal to win it, hoping that Leeds can do something today, and they certainly could. Wolves have scored. Is that good or bad? Yes, it's good for me because Robbie said Bournemouth will win. Our first catch of the day. It's a 7th-minute goal for Wolves against Bournemouth. The first Premier League game in the 3 that are kicking off at 3. And it's Mane. He's doing very well, isn't he, Mane, for them. And he scored again. Mane for Wolves. And this might be a game where they're prioritising... Well, they're always prioritising 3 points. But it's been ruled out. It's 0-0. It's not a goal. It's 0-0. VAR says no goal. Robbie's back in it. He's offside. Malpa says, here's a donation for a box of Just Men. Let's not go down that route because somebody did that about a bottle of red wine in a United game and I ended up with 150 quid going towards a bottle of wine. I had to find a 150 quid bottle of wine. So let's not have a collection for Just for Men because I'll end up... No, we're not going down that road. If you want to put it towards my Japan trip, then feel free. Imagine if Wrexham gets promoted, says Mel's. Has that ever been done? Back-to-back promotions. I mean, look, credit to Wrexham if they do get promoted. I've watched them play a couple of times in the last couple of years, and I think the way they play is so... I mean, I personally think that Phil Parkinson at some point's got to get the sack because his football's so basic and physical. But if it gets you promoted, it gets you promoted. And look, to be fair, football's going down that route now, isn't it? Direct, etc. Oh, Marco's gifted a couple of quid for my Japan trip. Thanks, pal. What happened with Saka, says Manny? I think he got a hamstring injury in the warm-up. I'll probably be able to give you a little bit more information. Long throw-in coming in from Hincape. Yeah, forced to withdraw from Arsenal's Premier League clash in the warm-up. So yeah, that's the latest with that. I mean, is this breaking news from Fabrizio Romano? Manchester United will go very big on midfielders in the summer. They could sign 1 or 2 with Casemiro leaving. Well, I tell you what, cancel the game and let's have a barbecue. I mean, that's just not breaking news, is it? Come on. How many times have we been told that as United fans over the last 6 months? About 90? Man United are going to go big in the summer. So still 0-0 between Wolves and Bournemouth. They've had a goal. I saw somebody the other day. There was a tier list of journalists, and Fabrizio wasn't tier 1. He was tier 2. I was like, "What are you talking about?" Fabrizio's tier 1. I'm not having that. I think when you've been at the top for a long time, people get a bit fed up of you. That's just the circle of life. But he's still tier 1. He's still got very good sources. Good pressure this by Leeds. Arsenal will be desperate to score first in this game. When's the... Is the Six Nations starting next week? I think it does, yeah. Good cross by Leeds. I'll tell you what, this could be a difficult game for Arsenal. They're not sitting back. And it's a good shot there, just over the bar from Leeds. Andy says, of course it's spin due to the protest tomorrow. Hi, Mark. Few Spurs fans saying they want to lose to City to stop Arsenal. What kind of mentality is that, given their position of possible relegation, says Mystical? Look, that wasn't far off from Leeds. In fairness to Spurs fans, we can ridicule it, we can laugh at it, we can say, what are you on? But it's not a new take. They've done it before. Remember when Ange was in charge, he just couldn't get his head around it. How can you be so defeatist that you'd rather lose a game to potentially stop your rival? But I mean, I don't really get it, but it's not the first time it's happened. Anteater says this game could really suit Gyökeres. I'm streaming for India now. How am I 20 seconds ahead of you, says Ankit. 3 p.m. games, isn't it? It's, yeah. If you're ahead, you're ahead. Well done. As a Spurs fan, I cannot understand why fans want us to lose when we're in the situation we are in, says Newcastle Jets fan. And what inanimate object would you be for one day, says Greg. I haven't given it much thought, so give me some suggestions. Andy Atherton, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. And I reckon Fabrizio has lost all credibility, viable mouthpiece for anyone with the right amount of money. I saw stuff about Greenwood. I saw a clip on Instagram from this guy who does some quite good stuff. He was talking about that fanalysis and how the fans don't get paid. He does some quite topical stuff around football. And he was saying about Fabrizio, and he apparently, I've never noticed it, so I'm only sort of discussing it. But apparently, Greenwood, he's always been very, almost like a promo for Greenwood. But I've never really noticed it, to be honest. Royal Rumble tonight. Yeah, I mean, I probably would have watched the Royal Rumble if I'm being honest. But yeah, I wouldn't be overjoyed by this start from Arsenal. It's very typical side-to-side pass, pass, pass against a low block. I don't sense anything new from Arteta here, if I'm being honest. Andy Atherton says, bottle of red wine, who would do such a thing? If you know, you know. Any other watch-alongs today, says Alex? Yes, we're doing all of them. 5:30 Chelsea West Ham, and then 8 o'clock Liverpool Newcastle. Looking forward to it. And then we're back here tomorrow for Man City at Spurs as well. Madueke, that's more direct. Gyökeres is just a heavy Darwin Núñez, says Nad. Well, I am a fan of Gyökeres, as I've said before. I think you've just got to move the ball quicker. I think that's something that, look, I know some Arsenal fans aren't really feeling it around Gyökeres, but I know they agree in the sense that we need to move the ball quicker. Hi Mark, I've done overtime at work, so planning a trip to Turkey. Do I get turkey teeth, turkey crown, or a turkey gobble? It's a tough choice, as UK camouflage. A lot of people go to Turkey to have their teeth done, don't they? Enter the box. Subamendi. No power, straight at the goalkeeper. If Leeds win today and we beat Brentford tomorrow, 1 point off the top, and as Villa fans will still be looking behind us, says yes, lads. Yeah, but I get that from Villa. I get that from Villa. You've got to play your chances down. The squad isn't huge, and nobody was really putting Villa in the top 4, and they're third. So you've just got to accumulate the points to a point where you know you've got top 5, because Champions League football at Aston Villa is not a regular thing, is it? So yeah, it's great if you can be in a title race, and it's great if you can win the Europa League. However, once you're in the top 3, that's your best bet of Champions League football. And I'm sure Emery and the Villa fans want to win a trophy. But as you know, in a trophy, you can be in a semi-final, dodgy referee, deflections. I'd focus on the league for now and just get as many points as you can. Long throw in by Leeds. Headed away. Mark, I'm lying in bed with a... Imagine if it was something good. Unfortunately, it's not. He's lying in bed with a terrible cold and a bad back. Thanks for making me forget and making the matches better with your commentary. All the best, says Nick. Well, get well soon, mate. I haven't had the cold, but I have had the bad back. There's Dr. Pepper in the UK. You're doing adverts, says Zuta. I'm not doing an advert. I'm just having a can of Dr. Pepper. And it's cherry Dr. Pepper. I'm not aware of that being in the UK. I mean, I don't really go out buying cans of pop very often. When Havertz plays, you can clearly see how he is head and shoulders above all Arsenal lads, says Rub. Brawl says, my English teacher was talking about you in class. Hopefully it was good. Still 0-0 Brighton Everton. Still 0-0 Leeds. Wolves and Bournemouth. Middlesbrough winning against Norwich. Reading have just scored against Northampton. Leverkusen are beating Frankfurt 2-0. They're having a right bad season. Hoffenheim are winning again, 2-0 up. And Leipzig are 1-0 up against Mainz. I just saw a goal there. Reading, yeah. Who do you think's coming up from the Championship, Mark? I think the momentum's with Middlesbrough at the moment. I felt Coventry would do it. However, they've had a couple of bad games, haven't they? Hi, Mark. Today I got called up to the first team training at my club here in Australia and trained with Juan Mata. Saved 2 out of 3 1v1s with him. Loved it, says George. Well, that's a big day, isn't it? Big shout out to George. He's been playing with Juan Mata today. Not like he's been invited round to Mata's house to play Scale Electric or whatever. He's been playing football. Well done, George. Like to hear that. No hamstring for Saka, says Hazzy. Apparently it's a left hip injury. Apparently I'm very popular with the mums. There's a lot of people saying my mum loves you, Goldbridge. There's plenty that don't. Seemed a very quick offside on Madueke there. Started my Mark Makes United Great Again book. Only you will get a copy, says Winner. I'm looking forward to this. Francis says, Coventry will do it. Sky Blues back in the Prem, says Francis. I hope they do. Quite local to me, Coventry. So I know a few Coventry fans. I'd like to see them get promoted. It's a long time since we've had them in the Prem. Who would you say is the most famous Coventry Premier League player? And I'm thinking like... I always think of Darren Huckabee, but I don't know how long he played for them. Dublin played for them. Dion. I'm trying to think. There must be some others. Premier League Coventry City players. Did have Grizovic playing goal in the Prem? Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane played there. Gary McAllister. End Love. End Love's a good one, actually. Specifically Coventry, yeah. End Love. End Love's probably the one. Because Dublin played for a couple of clubs, didn't he? And Robbie Keane played for a few. And Darren Huckabee played for Norwich. Gyökeres played for Coventry, but not in the Prem. Noel Whelan, good shout, yeah. I'd say Peter Endlove's probably the most... though, isn't he? Because I don't think he played for anyone else. Strachan, yeah. Spurs / Hammers get relegated. It ain't looking good, says Stretford. I don't think there's a cat in hell's chance that Spurs will get relegated, to be honest. And that's not me jinxing it. I really don't think they will get relegated. What have they got? 28 points. Yeah, I think they'll be all right. I know that saying of too good to go down isn't true, but it should be. Well, so far so good for Leeds. It's exactly the sort of game they would have wanted. A battle where Arsenal can't get themselves on top. What Leeds players do you rate, Mark, if any, says Benj? I don't think there's anyone I'd take at United. And don't talk to me about Calvert-Lewin. There's a standard. I've had a super chat here from Jordan. He says, just watched your driving with Goldbridge. Loved it. Just wondered if you had undiagnosed HDAD or autism. Much love from Kenilworth. Why does I listen? Hold on, Trazard. Crap cross. Why is it? I saw this on the Ricky Gervais latest release on Netflix. Everybody these days has mental health. And I do agree with that. I think everybody suffers from different levels of mental health. But why do you have to be ADHD or autistic if you're a little bit like creative or a little bit out there? I don't get that. Why? Because I'm an overthinker. Would I have ADHD or autism? I'm no different now than I was at school, and loads of my mates were like me. So are we all like that? I don't get it. Everyone needs a label. That's what it is. But I don't think we do. Legend Everett has called out Suarez to a cage fight, says Andy Atherton. Strange. Corner to Arsenal. Headed away. Gabriel says Kai is head and shoulders above. No wonder he's 6'4". And similar sort of approach here from Arsenal. Yeah, somebody just said there, if they had a cage fight, is biting allowed, says Dan. What's your reaction to the Benfica goalkeeper ahead against Madrid, says Lab. Well, if you'd have been on That's Football, you'd have seen my reaction. Absolute cinema. Loved it. Brilliant. We were actually live for it. We were doing the Champions League final night, and that was the last game, so we turned it on, and we watched it live. It was great. 25 minutes and Arsenal created nothing. Bad ball, says Andy. Yeah, I wouldn't be particularly happy about this if I was an Arsenal fan. Again, it's just pragmatic. It's slow. It's reliant on set pieces. It's no different from what we saw against United. It's no different from what we saw against Forest at the City Ground. And it's no different from what we saw against Liverpool. So Arteta's clearly not going to change. It's about clean sheets and set pieces, isn't it? He's not going to change. And look, it might still be enough for them to win the league. But it's far from pretty. Yeah, I saw Forest are going to sign Ortega. Form says, if there are polar bears in heaven, does that not imply all animals are, including dinosaurs? Terrifying thought. Yeah, that got quite deep in driving with Goldbridge. I was talking about if I got to heaven, the first thing I'd do is go and stroke my dead dogs because they're probably lonely and they've not had anyone to talk to. And then you start to think about other animals. And then you do start to think, realistically, is this even viable? Each to their own. I'm quite comfortable with the fact that we're here for a good time, not a long time. And the fact that I was dead for 2,000 years, well, more than that, before I was born as well. People are saying that dogs don't have a soul, but humans do. Why? Why is that a thing? Official says, do you believe it? Still believe it's not the mentality? What are we talking about here? Another long throw in. I'll tell you what, Arteta's starting to piss me off. And I don't even care. But this brand of football it's really starting to annoy me. It's just so many touches. It's so bloody pragmatic. You're trying to win a bloody title. Still no goals in the Prem. Another corner to Arsenal here. They've had about 52 corners already here. They haven't. I'm joking. They've had... This is their 5th corner. Addy says it's rare from other... I think we might have a goal from a corner here for Arsenal. Madueke. No, the corner's been cleared. Declan Rice goes wide to Madueke. Good play. Cross comes in. There it is. It's Zubimendi and it's 1-0. 1-0 Arsenal. So they've got the goal here, and it is Zubimendi who has scored it. Look, at the end of the day, what did I say? This is not an improved Arsenal performance from what we've seen in the last few games. Arteta isn't saying, let's play a little bit quicker, let's play with a little bit less possession, and let's be a little bit more on the front foot. It's the same pragmatic Arsenal, reliant on possession, set pieces, and a strong defence. You can win a title like that. And maybe that's what he's going to do. But I don't know at any point that it's going to be pretty. But it's lovely play by Madueke. And it's a good header by Zubimendi. And there's not a lot the goalkeeper can do it. And in fairness, I did say, Saka out, Madueke in, doesn't necessarily make a difference. Because Madueke can come in and do a good job. And he has. He's got an assist there. Wasn't a corner. It was a cross from Madueke, but they had a corner just before it. Do you think Arsenal bottle it again, says Lab? They've got to win today. They have to win today. If they can win today, it just closes the door a little bit on Man City and Villa. But look, the goal could be good. It could open the game up a little bit now. Leeds have got to attack. Madueke being more direct, as Mark predicted, says Francis. He's just quicker. Saka likes to take a few more touches. Madueke's a little bit more direct. And Trossard's another slow player. So if you've got Saka and Trossard on the wing and Odegaard or Havertz as the 10, it's quite pragmatic, isn't it? Whereas Madueke just gives you a little bit more speed. Aaron, people are genuinely ADHD. It's chemical, overused. Tell me more. Rajaf says, Madueke masterclass. What a ball. Insane aura. FC United of Manchester. Do you follow, says Dead Boy. I don't, but I know who they are. Bromley are 3-0 up against Gillingham. So first goal in the Premier League is actually at Arsenal here. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Wow, got 13,000 watching. Did not realise we had that many. Thank you very much. Please do share the video, get involved and subscribe. We're only about 100 subscribers away from 453,000. And we are live 3 times today. We've got Chelsea against West Ham at 5:30 and then we've got an 8 o'clock kickoff between Liverpool and Newcastle as well. Arsenal will be the worst Premier League winners ever, no doubt, says Max. Look, it's definitely a different way of winning the Premier League, isn't it? You can't argue that they are dominant in possession and they're dominant in depression. They're dominant in possession. They're defensively very, very solid. I mean, yet again, Arsenal are half an hour in and the opposition haven't had a shot on target. It's pragmatic. But the antidote to this is to do what United did and score a couple of goals against them. Take shots, take chances. But it would be a huge result for Arsenal. Take what you need. When you look back at previous title races with City and Liverpool when they got 90 plus points, they were both enjoyable to watch. This not good to watch, says Sophie. Let's get 1,000 likes, says Lab. Did you watch Match for Hope charity match, Mark, says Corrupt? No. That was a little bit blunt, wasn't it? No, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. You know why I didn't watch it? I wasn't really aware it was on. A bit like the Baller League, you know. Obviously, when I was down there, I knew it was on. But then when it was actually on, Season 2, I didn't watch any of it. Not knocking it. It just doesn't really enter my world. But look, great for charity, isn't it? What's your thoughts on the English dominance in the Champions League, says Christopher? Well, it's the same as the English dominance in the transfer market, isn't it? You would expect, I mean, people almost like, Bournemouth have scored. Creepy. 1-0. Robbie did say Bournemouth would win. He's doing well at the moment because he's got a draw for Everton. He's got an Arsenal win and he's got a Bournemouth win. So he's got 3 out of 3 at the moment. Sophie was talking about more enjoyable title races in the past. You know what I think it is with Arteta? I think he's so aware that he needs to win a league title that he's just gone super safe. It's like being in a relationship with someone that you don't want to get them pregnant and wearing 2 condoms. It's like, and them telling you they're on the pill. It's like, I don't care. We're going to be super safe here just to make sure. And it feels like that's what Arteta's doing. He's like, a bit like Gareth Southgate wearing a helmet on the peloton. Arteta's just gone ultra safe. And I don't think he cares what anybody else says. Look, Man United benefited from it last week and we won. But I could still look at Arsenal and say, you're way too pragmatic. You're boring. You're way too safe. You'd rather keep the ball for 70% of the time and play slow and low scoring than play a little bit more. Look, Arsenal are very rarely going to beat teams 4-0 this season, are they? They're not. And I think what Sophie's saying is that when you look back at Liverpool and Man City when they've won the league, there's probably been 5 or 6 times in the Premier League season where they've battered people. And they just don't batter people, Arsenal, because basically it's about keeping the ball, getting a goal or 2 and not conceding shots. And that's the style of play. It's incredible that they probably, I mean, I don't know the stats, but how many games this season have Arsenal played and not conceded a shot on target? That, to some people, is very exciting. And I would say it's an amazing achievement. But it doesn't lend itself to good football. How do Arsenal stop people having shots on goal? High possession. High possession. Arteta, but look, if you're an Arsenal fan, it's about winning the league. You're not going to moan about it when the record books say in 10 years' time that you've won the league. Gabriel's down injured here. Calvert-Lewin's just stamped on his foot accidentally. So I think for Arteta, it's just about winning the league. And he's not going to change the way he plays because pragmatically he feels that Arteta might have looked at the remaining fixtures and said, look, people are going to take a pop at us, but if we play like this, like we have done for the last 5 months, I guarantee we'll have this amount of points and we'll win the league. He might have already looked at it in that sense. Like, I know if we keep playing like this, we will win the league. Arsenal need to go and win the title, not defend the lead like they have, says Dice Man. Arteta definitely wears armbands going for a bath, says Ian O'Connell. Are you excited for the Super League return? If so, who's your favourite team, says Bailey. Yeah, I'm very, very excited about the return of the Super League, and my favourite team is the Hull City Ravens and Wigan Wanderers. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I'm sorry. I don't. I should have kept my mouth shut. Lab says, we all wait for 442s to make a video about Arsenal on the final day. Kingsloss says, are you getting involved in the protests tomorrow? I have answered this before. Last time we tried to get involved in the protests, it got quite aggressive from certain people in the protests saying we don't want fan cameras here. So we support it and we promote it, but we're not going to turn up and start, going into situations where people might start fighting and stuff like that. That's not what the protest is all about. So we are firmly behind it and we are promoting it, but you can't really do much about people who have those sort of opinions as well. Yeah, Christopher, going back to your point about the domination of English teams in the Champions League, I've seen a few people talking about this like it's a surprise. Oh my God, oh my God. We spend way more money over many, many years than every other league in Europe. Why is it a surprise that English clubs are dominating? I mean, I saw somebody post the other day, last 5 years spends, and it's scary. It's scary how much Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City have spent over the last 5 years, comparable to a Juventus or a Dortmund. It's madness. So I'm not surprised that we're starting to dominate. We just need to win. I tell you what, I think they've done it again. Corner FC have done it again. Get ready. Are you ready? And it comes from, it's Madueke again. And it's gone in. Oh, keeper. Teflon gloves. Madueke puts the corner right in on the front post. And the keeper has tried to catch it. And he's put it in his own net. And that goal could be quite big. And I might have jinxed it. I said Arsenal very rarely beat teams 4-0. Well, I tell you what, they're John Bon Jovi. They're halfway there. Madueke's cross. Curls it right. Oh, it's terrible goalkeeping. It's terrible goal. Calvert-Lewin's done him no favours at all here. Yeah, it's one of those where Arsenal have done next to nothing here. There's nobody pushing anybody. There's no one near. No, like normally you'd have an Arsenal player pushing the goalkeeper, pushing Calvert-Lewin. There's not an Arsenal player anywhere near it. It's curling in towards the front post. Calvert-Lewin's going to head it. Keeper tries to go over Calvert-Lewin and puts it into his own goal. Terrible. Terrible. So it will be an own goal, that. I'm just glad you would take all of this if United were in the same position. Oh, yeah, 100%, Yeah, I don't think as an Arsenal fan you need to apologise. Robinson says, if you could commit a crime and forever crime that will happen... No, sorry. If you could commit a crime and forever that crime will never happen again, what crime would you get rid of? But I've got to commit it first. It's a deep question, that. Madueke, this is how you answer the hate, says Rajaf. Thank you very much, Rajaf. So 2 crosses from Arsenal, 2 goals. Bit of quick half, though. 40 minutes, nearly at half-time. Leeds haven't had a shot on target, so looking good, Brev, for Arsenal at the moment. I'm sure they can defend a 2-goal lead here as well. I'm very sure. Thanks everyone who's watching, by the way. Please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. It's hard to know what Leeds can do here. I mean, if they open up, Arsenal really could go and get 3 or 4 goals. Sorry, I've just lost me live chats. Thank you very much for your super chats. Perjury in court is the answer, says Rory. 11 says, what's your favourite goalkeeper since the 90s? Schmeichel. Go on, Leeds. Bit of a chance here. Arsenal play like fun gets taxed. I think if Arsenal were a occupation, they'd be traffic wardens. Favourite, Madueke, thank you very much for that. Look, I think I predicted Arsenal would win the league at the start of the season, and not many people were doing that. So I'll get proved right when they win the league, which I think they will. However, I also think Arsenal can play good football, and I think it's because of Arteta that they're not. I think he's gone pragmatic to make sure that they win it. I'd like to turn Arsenal on and be more entertained. But I'm not so sure he's going to do that. But it's hard to see a way back for Leeds. But look, they did it against Liverpool. Trossard's down injured here. I saw Declan Rice hobbling a bit as well. Yeah, just looking at this again. Yeah, it's crap. It's crap goalkeeping that. You just can't do that. You can't do that. Let's have a look at Arsenal's next few games. So they're 2-0 up here at Leeds. Then they've got Sunderland next Saturday, Brentford away, and then Tottenham away. So it's hard to see a defeat for Arsenal there. It's hard to see a draw. I would fancy them to beat Sunderland at home. Brentford away. I mean, never say never. Brentford at home can be quite good, but I would still fancy Arsenal. Spurs away, I'd fancy Arsenal. So then they've got Chelsea at home, Brighton away, Everton at home, Wolves away. So they've got a couple of months in the Premier League where, again, I mean, I just think Arteta looks at it and says, look, just do what we do. Strong at the back, lots of possession. Grind out those wins. Lovely cut back. Good tackle on Havertz, but it'll be a corner. But Arsenal were always going to have this situation as well. You look at their remaining fixtures and there isn't that many difficult games for them because they got a lot of their difficult games out of the way. Some people saying, should it have been a penalty on Havertz? No, he gets the ball. Corner. Yes, we are doing a Super Bowl watch-along next weekend, Alex. Looking forward to that. End of the day, a non-English team is going to win the Champions League, says Jabba. And Shinobi says, still a long way to go, but I'd rather us play like this and win the league than play entertaining and win nothing. Winning is all that matters. And I completely respect that. As an Arsenal fan, I get it. Of course I do. Mr. Phil says, do all Arsenal own goals get a medal as well? I take it they've had a few own goals. Lovely ball by Rice to get it out to Madueke. Own goals their top scorer. Who is Arsenal's top scorer? Yeah, no shots on target for Leeds. I mean, they must be breaking some sort of record there, Arsenal. They must be. Because there's been multiple games I'm aware of where they've conceded no shots on target. Gyökeres is their top scorer, apparently. Own goals scored 5 for Arsenal, which is the same as Gyökeres. That's according to the chat. Half-time, Bournemouth lead 1-0 at Wolves, and Brighton 0, Everton 0. I would be genuinely embarrassed winning the Premier League like this, says Max. I don't think you would. Arsenal haven't won the league since 2004. It's over 20 years. I think they'd take it however it comes. And it is half-time there. Look, they've played like this all season. Up until last week, they'd not lost a game at the Emirates. And yes, I did feel that Arteta needs to stop being so precautious and play a little bit more freer with the players that he's got. But he's turned up at Leeds. He's played like they have done all season. They're 2-0 up. They've conceded no shots on target. They've probably had 90% possession. And it works. And he's probably looking at the remaining fixtures and going, okay, Man City might be difficult. Newcastle might be difficult. But everybody else playing like this, I'd expect us to win. People might say we're boring. But if I win the Premier League, I'm the first Arsenal manager to do it in 20 years. Maybe next season we'll play a little bit freer. But for now, my job is winning the league. And that's what I'm going to do. And you can't argue with it. They're getting the job done. 13 shots to 2. 2 shots on target. Leeds have had none. Might not be the best game of football, but they're the dominant force at the moment. For 20 years, Arsenal were told to stop playing pretty football and play more pragmatic if they're to win anything. Yeah, look, and rival fans have got every right to say this is boring. That's what it's all about. But I think as an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't lose any sleep about it if I were you. I'd be like, well, at the end of the season, we want to be holding the title up. Simple as, you know. Baleba not in the squad for Brighton, says Combe. Do you think United would do it in the last couple of days? I mean, that would be exciting. That would be exciting. I don't know whether I can... Let me see if I can find anything out. Let's have a look. Apparently he's playing. He's dominating the midfield. So, yeah, that's a load of bollocks. He's literally playing, yeah, so, yeah. How many times do you think we'll have a new manager next season, says Don't Give a Cook? And looks like it's boring if Arsenal win the league like this, but when City were winning the league playing good football, we were calling it boring then as well, says AD. But have you not answered your own question there? When City were winning the league, they were scoring loads of goals. And it was tiki-taka, but they were scoring loads and loads of goals and battering people. Arsenal aren't scoring loads of goals and battering people. They're not conceding many goals, and they're very pragmatic. So you can't say that Pep's team's anything like Arteta's team, because that's not how Pep played. I did find Pep's football quite boring, but it's not the same as this. Look at how Arsenal play in the Champions League when teams don't just low block of doom against them, says Will Bish. And I think that's a great, fair point as well. I remember Jeff Stelling saying that Arsenal need to play more expansive. Well, expansive football is expanse, isn't it? It's space. It's hard to play expansive football when the opposition are sitting deep and parking the bus. And how many times have Arsenal this season played against teams that actually open up? They don't. Man United last week, we didn't open up. We played compact, we played well organised, and we utilised the space on the counter. So what are Leeds doing at home here? They're not doing anything in the. They're at home at Ellen Road and they've done nothing. They're compact, deep, counter-attacking. So, you know, it is a fair point to raise that actually, as much as people probably do want to see Arsenal play a little bit quicker, and I think they could play quicker, they are also predominantly playing against teams that play quite pragmatic, quite deep themselves. Blackgates is embarrassed. Really? Would people really rather have the team with 115 charges against them win it? We aren't cheating. That's what's to be embarrassed about. There we go. Tevin says, also, we've been far more direct today against Leeds. I don't understand what people want to see. Our play has created set pieces and we're good at them, says Tevin. And also, if I was an Arsenal fan, after the last 3 games where you've taken 2 points from 9, I would want a result at Leeds by hook or by crook. And 2-0 up at half-time with no shots conceded. I think Arsenal fans would 100% rather win 3-0 playing like this than draw 3-3 in a Premier League Classic. Today for Arsenal is about 3 points. They desperately do need the 3 points. Thank you very much for those super chats coming in. Hi Mark, have you had a Moscow mule yet? You literally asked me last night. You only asked me last night, and I had a stomachache last night, so I've definitely not had a Moscow mule. Thank you. I just saw Max Verstappen on the telly. I can't believe F1's coming back soon. Never seems to be off these days, is it? Get your questions in. Thank you very much. Where are we? Thank you. Lost me live chat for a moment. So far, it's been 5 Premier League games this season, 6 if Leeds have 0 shots, which equals the Invincibles record. Chelsea also did it in 2021 with 5 games. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it, Shinobi? It is incredible, really, when you think about how you can deprive the opposition of a shot on target for 90 minutes. Very, 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 very impressive. Jaren says, how many points do you think Arsenal will get at match day 38? Oh, I'm never very good on this. So they're currently on 53 and there are 14 games left. So 14 times 3 is 42, which would they can get a maximum of 95 points. I would say that Arsenal will hit about 84. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be a relatively low Premier League title score and a high relegation score. So I can see someone getting relegated with 35 points and I can see the title being won with early 80s. So, because the quality's dropped in the Premier League, I think the gap between the teams at the bottom and the teams at the top has become less, and I don't think that's because the teams that are promoted are better. I think it's because the style of football in the Premier League has become more pragmatic and more analytical, and I think that's lowered the quality, and I don't think we've got many good footballing sides in the Premier League this season. And I mean, hopefully that will change in the future, but this season I think it's a bit of a transitional season. I still think it'll be. Doesn't mean that the football's not effective. We've seen that in the Champions League. Dr. Gabe says the defensive structures in the Premier League over years have improved so much. If you look across the league, a lot of attackers are struggling, not just Arsenal. A lot of teams are parking the bus, that's why. You play on the halfway line with a high line, you'll see a lot more goals. I don't think it's an improvement in... Well, you're right, there is an improvement in defensive structure because teams have become more defensive. You stand on the edge of your box with a couple of midfielders in front of you, you're not going to get as many chances. You go on the halfway line. Best goal you've scored in a match, and have you ever been a goalkeeper, says Levin? It's a long time since I've played football and scored goals. And I have played in goal a little bit, yeah. But it's a long time, mate. It's a long time. It's over. It's over. Don't depress me. Thank you very much for your super chat. Rest in peace to Catherine O'Hara. Hope you're well, Mark. Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff about that. I've watched Schitt's Creek. I love Home Alone. Hitting that age now where these people you sort of grew up watching are starting to pass away. It's sad, but here for a good time, not a long time. Rest in peace. All of us know Corner FC will choke come March, says Sir. Well, you say that, but Arsenal win their next two. The gap's 4 points. That means Man City have got to win at Spurs and Anfield to maintain it. So, and Man City are vulnerable. We've seen Man City against United. They're vulnerable. Watchalong guests on That's Football in 2026, says Francis. Mate, I could get watch-along guests like that easily. But I'm not necessarily a big fan of it. I've always been... What we invented was the watch-along with one person and a community. No one was doing that. And although some people do it now, we started this, and I just think it takes away from the most important people. You can't interact with the community as much if you've got a guest. You can't. So there's people who do that. Watch that if you want to. But for me, the best guest is you. And I used to find it so difficult when I used to go on the kickoff and you'd sit there with Brian and Lars and whoever the other guests were, and there's 5 of you. And you can see the live chat and they're making good points. And you want to go, because I'm so used to it, but there's too much of a conversation going on. I mean, with 5 people, you just can't get them involved. So, look, I'm not against it, Francis, but it would neglect the most important people. And everything we achieve is because of the community, whether it's the Bundesliga rights or what else is to come this year. The growth is because of this. So we I'd hate to change course, really. Flying to London in 2 weeks after booking that holiday when I was drunk to see my past girlfriend, says Jade. At least won't be alone on Valentine's Day, hoping for some good Valentine's gifts. You what? You're going to see your ex-girlfriend who you dumped on New Year's Eve and you only stayed with her for Christmas. I mean, surely, does she know that you watch this channel? Has she not seen what you're doing? Mate, you've also had 6 weeks to find a new girlfriend, so you shouldn't go back. Although Reece says if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Worst half of football from Arsenal this season, says Now. Well, they're 2-0 up, mate. They are 2-0 up. Don't knock it. Thanks everybody who's tuning in, by the way. Support the channel. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner to do. It's free to do. We're only 20 subscribers away from 453,000. So please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. If you are a subscriber, click the share button. Share it on your socials. Thank you so much. We are doing Chelsea against West Ham on this channel as well. And we'll be live at 5:30 for that. And then Liverpool against Newcastle. So busy day. And then Man City Spurs tomorrow. Busy weekend. Face 6293 says I'm in the building. United. Yeah, I think we should win this. Game tomorrow. Look, I do agree with this comment from Carmen as well. Funny they're calling Arsenal hideous football. They're angry we aren't bottling it. Look, I think we all know certain people in the media and therefore certain rival fans are desperate for Arsenal to bottle it so they can say, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. There are, inexplicably, Arsenal fans that I think deep down want it to go wrong so they can say, I told you so, I told you so. Like, when success is glaringly obvious, you need to go, I'm an Arsenal fan, I've been proved wrong, I'm going to park this and get behind the manager in the club. Because I do see people who are Arsenal fans who clearly still have it in for Arteta. And I'm like, but how is that overruling the fact that you're meant to have supported Arsenal all your life? I told you so should not be defeating your love for your football club. And I think if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd take great joy in the fact that people are getting irritated by how you're winning, because they don't really want you to play good football either. They just want you to bottle it. I think if you were 4-0 up against Leeds playing great football, I don't think they'd come on here and go, oh, well, fair play to Arsenal. They actually just want you to fail. So, yeah, the football may not be great to watch, but they do just want Arsenal to fail. Adama Traore playing for West Ham today, one of the most watchable players in football, just because he's just so direct. Hopefully he's going to start. Big game for Chelsea as well. So, look, can Leeds get back into it in the second half? They've got to start creating some chances. Why did you predict that Arsenal would win the league? Because going back to those days of Arteta out t-shirts, I said that those people were morons. And I got a lot of stick from them for it. But I said, look, Arsenal had been in the wilderness for years. And I just felt with Arteta, the plan that he was going to implement was going to take time. And therefore, you're going to get bad results in that time because you can't change everything overnight. And Okafor's coming on. Lo and behold, they have gradually got better and better. And I think in the summer, having had 3 years of finishing second, I felt Man City were going to go through an evolution and not be the challengers. I thought Liverpool would be the challengers, but I sensed that Liverpool might not be able to replicate it. And with Arsenal having a striker and a bench, more importantly a bench, I felt that the experience that they had over the last 3 years would lead to them being very, very close to the title. So I just thought, well, I'm not going to go Liverpool, I'm going to go with Arsenal. And I've never changed my mind on that. And look, I didn't say Arsenal would win the league playing the best football we've ever seen in history. I thought they would win the league on the fact that they've had the best defence in the league for the last 2 years. And every one of those players is a year stronger, a year hungrier. And I just think, look, a lot gets made about the signing of Gyökeres, but if we're going to be real, I think the signing of Mosquera, Hincapié, Norgard, Zubamendi, Eze, Madueke, Kepa, those signings and the number of them mean that when Saka gets injured or Saliba gets injured or Rice gets injured, you've got players that can come in and get results. And I think that was the moment where I thought Arsenal are going to win the league, because they didn't buy many first-team players, but they bought a raft of bench players, which just means that... And Arsenal have had a lot of injuries this year. Odegaard's been out, Saka's been out twice, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori. They've had a lot of injuries and they've dealt with them because of the squad. Anyway, we're about to start the second half here. I am Beamy's just asked a question about entertainment, which I will answer for you now. I'm just waiting to start the timer. 0-0 Brighton Everton and 1-0 Bournemouth at Wolves. I am Beamy says, hi Mark, isn't football supposed to be about entertainment at the end of the day? Would you watch a 3 competitive game or 5 boring weekend wins? Look, I want entertaining football. I used to watch Match of the Day religiously when I was a kid. That's not me watching Match of the Day with a Bible in my hand. I mean, I used to watch it every week. And sometimes you'd see a crappy Man City side score an absolute worldie with King Clancy. It was just enjoyable to watch. So I want to watch enjoyable football. And I think this season has been one of the worst Premier League seasons I've seen in a long time. Specifically because it bores the shit out of me how many long throws, how many corners, how many long kickoffs we see. So yeah, you do want to be entertained, but there's no rule about it. It doesn't have to happen. Who's this moron doing keep-ups? The most unorthodox keep-ups I've ever seen. Would you consider yourself introvert or extrovert? It's such an admirable skill to sit through hours and hours, talk non-stop, entertaining. What's the secret, says Sir? I think I'm more of an introvert. It says here, deep thinking, prefer to process thoughts internally and often think before speaking. Oh, I don't know. No, I don't think I do that. Quiet environment preference, thrives in calm settings rather than high stimulation, crowded or noisy environments. I don't know about that. I mean, I've done plenty of live shows. Observant and focused, often attentive to details and prefer focused work. I don't know. No, I don't actually think I am introvert, actually. Extrovert. A person who's predominantly focused on external things or social interaction rather than on internal thoughts. Well, no, I'm not really that either. No, I don't think I probably, I don't know. Is there one in between? Hello, Mark, says Squirrel. Hello. Hope you're not the squirrel I ran over. Yeah, okay. I keep losing the live chat here. Can Leeds get back into it? Well, they can. I think it'd be very difficult. No true Arsenal fans wants a bottle job, says Hey. And DJ says, I'm still hurting from Man United's win at Arsenal. Most of my family are Man United and talking smack. Still believe Man United Arsenal biggest rivalry in the world. Thank you, DJ. I think Leeds might have won a corner here. Look, if 2-0's a dangerous scoreline in football, if they can get one back, it makes a big difference. I tell you what, I don't know what I've done to my back, but it's definitely feeling better. Heat therapy. I think that's what it is. I was in agony this morning. I had a hot bath about an hour ago, and I've had this heat pad on my back, which has gone cold now. But it's definitely better than bloody painkillers, which have done nothing. Header! Oh! Header for Leeds. That's a shot on target. You won't get that record then today. No power on the header, but it is classed as a shot on target. Leeds have got to open up the game a little bit here. What's the game you're looking forward to the most today? I am excited to watch Chelsea. I like Liam Rosignol. I think I'm in the minority. I think there's a lot of. I did a video on him the other day, and I like Liam Rosignol. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say I want him to do really, really well because Chelsea and Man United are in competition. Having said that, Chelsea and Man United can get top 5 together. So I would like English managers to do better in the Premier League. We haven't got that many of them. And I do quite like the fact that he's quite self-assured. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do against West Ham, who've won their last 2. But Newcastle-Liverpool is the biggest game today. Yeah. Use a hot water bottle, Mark. Well, I used a hot water bottle last night, and I woke up and I thought I'd pissed myself. I hadn't. I'd rolled over onto it, and it had leaked. Oh, Gyökeres in 1-on-1. Too slow. Good defending by Rodon, but too slow. Doesn't get enough of these balls. I mean, to be fair, it's good defending by Rodon. You can't really... I don't really know what Gyökeres is meant to do. Maybe get it a little bit further out of his feet. But it's good defending by Rodon. Former Spurs player. No, I think Gyökeres did all right there. I mean, look, if that's Erling Haaland, it's 3-0. But that's the sort of ball he needs. He needs 3 or 4 of them again. In England, biggest rivalry, Arsenal-Tottenham. Worldwide, it's Man United. Man United owners need to understand they own a very big club, says DJ. Man United's biggest rival, in my opinion, is Liverpool. Another good corner from Madueke. Timber heads over the bar. I really do need Brighton to score or Bournemouth to score because I'm in big trouble here. Robbie went with a draw between Brighton and Everton and a win for Bournemouth. That'd be a 2-point shift. I can't have this. I can't have a 2-point shift. I need one of those teams to sort me out. I need a Wolves equaliser or I need a Brighton goal. Quick time. Why are Brighton so bloody inconsistent and unpredictable? Anyway, I'm loving this today. I wouldn't say there's no place I'd rather be. I'd like to be in the Hairy Lemon pub in Dublin having a few pints with the missus and some mates. Just get absolutely wasted. No, I would like that. I'm gutted. I can't watch. I'm so angry as well. I'm not. I'm in a good mood. But Madueke, good feet, good tackle. Seb's Sunday morning game is normally kicks off between 9 and 11. Last week it kicked off at 2. This week it's 1 o'clock. Man United kicking off at 2. I can't watch Seb play tomorrow. Fuming. If it was that football one, I'd bin it. But United, I can't. Maybe you actually did piss yourself, says Chris. No, we have white, cream sheets, and it definitely wasn't yellow. Thank you, Chris. Then again, with your bad back, one of the things it does say is get yourself to the doctors very quickly if you've got a bad back and you can't control your bodily functions. Thankfully, I've never had that yet. I mean, I said this on Driving with Goldbridge. No one tells you in your 20s that things are going to start to go wrong in your 40s. It's that famous line out of Alan Partridge, isn't it? Where no one told you in your 40s you'd have to push to take a piss. I mean, I haven't got to that point yet, thankfully. But, I mean, imagine that. Bad back and you crap yourself. I mean, I'm not saying it's enough to make you want it to be all over, but imagine that. You're down the pub with your mates having a couple of pints with a bad back, and the next thing you know, what's that smell? Oh, not again. Apparently, though, women, after they've had kids, the older they get, they have to wear pads for pissing themselves, which is, again, at least we don't get that, lads. Although apparently you can get that. I mean, I'm not at that stage yet, but apparently you can get dribble as a man. Everton have scored. No, they haven't. Oh, you bloody got me there. There's no need for that. Take what you need. I think we might have a Wolves goal. No, I've done it again. Why am I so thick? Like, I've just fell for one. Someone's obviously going to do it again. Right, I'm ignoring you now. Would you ever play golf? Oh, I've seen that golf tournament with, like, Giggs and John Terry and all that lot. Funnily enough, we used to have Paul Ince on the United Stand a few years ago every week, and he played golf with Giggsy a lot. And he said, why don't you start playing golf? And I said, Paul, how much do you have to play to be good? He says, you've got to play a lot. I said, I haven't got the time. So I'll never play golf. I'm good at pool, though. I am good at pool. They need to do like a creator pool competition and put me in it, because I am good at it. And it's very watchable. It's more watchable than golf. Coventry have got a goal. I fell for it again, haven't I? No, they have got a goal. Coventry are winning 1-0. Up the Sky Blues. Eccles. Always makes me think of Cake. He has scored. They're away to QPR. Fair play, fair play. Marlo says, hello, Mark. You talked about a new show where you're sitting down and talk about stuff. If you're sitting down, why not call it Benchmark? Very good, Marlo. Funnily enough, I have got a video coming out this afternoon. I need to get that ready to do, actually, at some point. Maybe I'll whack it out at 5. This is where Arsenal are going to be very difficult to deal with, though. The ability to just defend a lead. And to be fair, look, against Man United, you've got people like Cunha and Dorgu scoring worldies. If you are pragmatic, like Arteta is, he probably thought this week, how many times are we going to go 1-0 up against a team that we're controlling and then they're going to go and score a goal from a mistake and 2 worldies? It probably won't happen that often. So you can defend that. You can understand why Arteta's probably said, no, I'm not going to change the way we're playing. We'll keep the ball, we'll stay defensively strong, and we'll wait for those opportunities from set pieces and crosses, and we'll back ourselves to win 1 or 2-0 every week. And, right, people are going to criticise it and say it's boring, but not many teams have beaten them this season. When you think about Villa, they beat them with a last-minute goal away from home. When you think about Man United, they beat them with a mistake and 2 worldies. So he's probably looking at it and going, no, I'm not going to change the way we're playing. I reckon we'll win the league doing this. And the most important thing is to win the league. But if you're Leeds, you've got to look at what Man United did and say, look, let's be brave. Let's have a shot or 2. Let's have a goal. Timber's just been booked. And as a warning, look what Leeds did against Liverpool. Were they not 2-0 up there? Timber needs to be careful here. He don't want to talk himself into a red card. He's pulled Gabriel over. Everton have got a red card. No, they haven't. Oh, I tell you what. I'm not going to keep. I'm going to stop walking into these. Although some people are saying there's been a red card in the Everton game, I can not confirm it at the moment. No. Nothing coming through. Headed away. Double substitution here for Arsenal. Martinelli and Odegaard coming on. I tell you what, I'd love an Everton red card, with all due respect, because I want Brighton to win. Be interesting to see who he takes off. I presume he'll take off Havertz. Madueke must be thinking about Chelsea on Tuesday night, to be fair. No Saka. He must be protecting him there. Does make sense. Does make sense, to be fair. And Havertz, yes. So presumably Trossard will play off the right. Although if you're Eze, you're probably looking at it a little bit frustrated. Thank you very much for your super chats today. Really appreciate that. You can do it through the $sign. We'll read those out. Marlo, we've read yours. Thank you so much. Z says, I've just found out Mark Goldbridge isn't your real name. Mate, I'd hate to be that ill-informed and naive. God. Fucking hell. Has anyone told him Neighbours has been cancelled? Or Queen Elizabeth II died? Or that Donald Trump's the president of US? Bloody hell, mate. Let's all have a list of things that he probably doesn't know if he didn't know that. Mac, thank you very much for your super chat. I've drank all my Dr. Pepper. This is why I don't drink pop. I used to be one of them people in my 20s who, like, I'd have a big 2-litre bottle of Fanta Crush. Remember that Fanta? Is it Fruit Punch? Fanta? I don't know where they do it anymore. The red one. Can you remember that? The Max and Tanya got divorced, Joshua. Boom. Do they still do Fanta Fruit Punch, the red one? When I moved back from Ireland in 2002, I'd just like have a bottle of that a day. Easy. Easy. So that's why I don't drink fizzy drinks, because I just get fruit twist, that was it, yeah. I don't prefer me water. I've got a very sweet tooth, so I just want more and more of it. What's for dinner tonight, Mark? Says Mac. I've already had it. I had chips, pie, and runner beans with gravy. It was lovely. I had it for my lunch because obviously I'm doing a lot of streaming. I haven't really got time between games to have a proper dinner, so I'll just be snacking later. How much is Cole Palmer worth, says Ishi. I like this. Let me know in the chat. I think that I would say that Cole Palmer's worth, I think, 150 million. Yeah, 3 watch-alongs today, Channel of Chucky. Leeds are pushing here. Arsenal trying to play on the counter. If they could get one back, it would make it interesting, but Arsenal defending well. Would you rather have a night with Sidney Sweeney or have a discussion with Pep Guardiola and Arsene Wenger, says Jade? Well, I'm a happily married man, so I definitely preferred the chat with Pep and Wenger, yeah. Dinner can only be dinner if it's after 6 p.m. Okay, well, I've had my main meal today. Rajav says, Madueke out is a pain, but Odegaard is an aura. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. I thought Andy Robertson had scored for Cardiff there. Alex Robertson, sorry. Robbie's got a perfect 3 here. Never trust Brighton. Never trust Brighton. What Arsenal fixtures do you think will win or lose? I think Man City at the Etihad might be a tough game, but to be honest with you, if you keep a 4-point gap, it won't matter that much, will it? So many ties this season. Is it just an anomaly, or will this be the new norm moving forward, says Angel? Yeah, you're right. There are a lot of low-scoring games in the Premier League these days because everybody's so bloody defensive. It's such a big results business now that I think a lot of teams do just play very pragmatic. Imagine if they have to start changing the rules to get it more open. Birmingham City 2-0 up against Oxford City United. Does anybody rate Tanaka, says Com. Does anybody rate Tanaka? Surely somebody does. This is a half of football where Arsenal are definitely just going through the motions here. Chris says, why Mark Goldbridge though? Trust me, mate, the name just came up in about 5 minutes. But I've been using that name for 10 years now. And to be honest with you, a lot of people call me Mark, so it's fine. I mean, I literally do get called Mark by a hell of a lot of people. So it's I don't even see it as like not my name anymore because I've been using it for 10 years. So people that I've met through this industry call me Mark. So I don't see it as a big deal. Daniel, thanks for your super chat. Arsenal on the attack with Martinelli. No goals in the Premier League in the second half. Or as I call it, the Pragmatic League. That's quite good, actually. Premier League, Pragmatic League. It has become very pragmatic, hasn't it? I mean, all clubs are investing a lot of time and effort in this, in the structure. It's all about the structure. Organisation. Boring. If you could chin any celebrity, who would it be, says Sam? Well, I don't think violence solves anything. I mean, a lot of people would say Ollie Murs, but I don't think violence solves anything. Unless it's a boxing match, which is actually a professional sport. I don't even see that as violence. I don't think there is anybody actually I dislike. I don't dislike anybody enough to go, I'd like to chin them. Abdi, thanks very much for joining the members club. Ed Sheeran. Well, you can tell me who you'd like to chin. I'll let you know. Piers Morgan. I like Piers. I think he is what he is. Hope you're well and having a good day, says Daniel. You too, pal. You too. Arsenal have scored again. 3-0. Well, I did say that Arsenal don't win very often by more than 2 goals. Well, today it looks like they can do, and it's Gyökeres. Gyökeres who scores as well. Well, I do always feel happy when Gyökeres scores, because it's nothing to do with Arsenal. I just think he's a good player. And I do think he'll score goals if he's given opportunities. And I don't think he gets that many opportunities. We had a similar thing at Man United for years where Rasmus, Martial, Rashford, Xerxes, Cavani, Ronaldo, they're living on scraps. And people go, oh, they're crap, they're crap. But you look at someone like Erling Haaland or Harry Kane, they get 3 or 4 good chances a game. And Martinelli gets the assist. But I think if you give Gyökeres the chances, he will score goals. It's good movement. It's a good goal. I'm pleased for him. I do like Gyökeres. I do think he's a good player. But I don't think Arsenal's pragmatic, slow football plays into his strengths. Yeah, good cross by Martinelli. He's strong. He gets in front of the defender, and you're never going to pull him off from there. He's got the right side of the defender. He's using his body, gets the volley on it, and he's got his goal. Ollie back or Onana back, says Daniel. Well, you can always put Onana on the bench, but Ollie back would be the manager, so I think I'd probably bring Onana back, as bad as that sounds. Man United Planet says, I just enjoy the watch-alongs, United till I die. Well, it's a big win for Arsenal. However, it's not just a big win. It's more than that. 3 points, yes, for Arsenal. However, probably something that they don't do very often, a huge boost to their goal difference. If you look at the league table and how it looks at the moment, that's a goal difference of 28, which puts them 2 ahead of Manchester City as well. And that's something that, being pragmatic, it's hard to do. So I think Arteta will be very happy today with the fact that they're actually scoring the goals, you know. Dahlia says, really disappointed in Leeds. Yeah, but you know what, mate? This is a very good Arsenal side. They may not play the way you want them to play. They may be not the most easy on the eye, but they're a hard team to beat. They're a well-organised side. They've got some very, very good players. And in fairness to Leeds, it's a mismatch, isn't it? Like, they are better. They've got a better team than Leeds. They've got a better bench than Leeds. Oh, sorry, I've got the wrong timer on here. The second half one wasn't on. Good Gus. Good Gus. Good guess. Brighton! Get in! Only because Robbie's got Brighton, Everton draw, and I've got a Brighton win. And he's also got Bournemouth beating Wolves, so I need a point back here. So Brighton have scored. Now, we don't want a VAR. Gross has scored. We don't want a VAR here. I don't want a late Everton equaliser either. No VAR. No VAR. Pascal Gross. Gross. No, people in the chat are trying to say offside. It's been given. It's confirmed. Don't worry about that. Okay. Thank you. Thanks everybody who subscribed, by the way. I think we have hit 453,000. Subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Thank you so much. We are doing West Ham against Chelsea at 5:30 and Liverpool against Newcastle at 8 o'clock. So the first of 3 watch-alongs today. Thank you everyone who's tuning in. Get involved with That's Football by subscribing. Coventry are now 2-1 up against... No, they're losing to QPR. Ooh. Coventry are starting to wobble at the top of the Championship. Big time. Lampard in trouble. Yeah, Brighton goal been given. Still 1-0 to Bournemouth at Wolves. Arsenal definitely going to win here. 7-point gap. That means Villa and Man City both have to win tomorrow to keep the gap down to 4. Raining in Leeds. Raining goals for Arsenal. Yeah, good comeback for QPR there. They were 1-0 down to Coventry and they've scored 2 goals in 7 minutes. They're 2-1 up against the league leaders, but Middlesbrough are winning, so that gap comes down to, I think, 1 point. Yeah, I think it's an interesting 3 games for Liverpool. Home to Newcastle, home to City, away to Sunderland. Can't really afford to draw any more games, let alone lose. Leeds have let us all down, says D-Mag. Mate, they've never been in this. They've never been in this at all. It's been a very, very comfortable game from Arsenal. He's been able to make lots of substitutions. Never been in doubt. Very, very comfortable win. Leeds in crisis, says Ladios. Only if West Ham beat Chelsea. They've still got 6 points from safety, haven't they? Look, Leeds aren't going to go down based on not beating Arsenal, are they? Do you live below the BFG? Roof's going to cave. Jesus, roof's going to cave. What are you talking about, Soupy? Don't even get that. No shame in losing to us. Leeds are great, to be fair, says a true gent. I'd slap the City team, says Justin. What's a man's biggest fear in your opinion, Mark, says Stephen. Very, very, very stereotypical that, to say I know every man's biggest fear. One man's biggest fear might be no beer in the fridge. Another one's might be opening the door to a polar bear, you know? What Man United season was the most disappointing you've ever witnessed out of all you've had to keep up with, says Angel. I thought the Ollie Ranić season was depressing. First time we went below 60 points. I think last season's the lowest of the low. 15th place and losing a final to Spurs and no European football. I think it takes some beating, that. Ooh, nearly 4. Jesus. Why the 3 PM blackout in the UK, says Mr. Phil. I think it's something to do with something in the 60s whereby if an Arsenal fan can't watch Arsenal on the telly, they'll go and watch Leyton Orient and help their attendances. It really is something as stupid as that. They basically think if you don't put a match on the telly, the fan of that club will go and watch a lower league team. It really is that. It's completely archaic. It's completely stupid. I don't know whether it'll ever change. Arsenal-Chelsea will be a good game on Tuesday. Only 3-2. Arsenal are at home. You can't really sit and defend, can you? How long we got left? 15 minutes. Arsenal will definitely get 4 goals because I said in the first half Arsenal never beat teams by 4 goals. As soon as I said that, it was going to happen. Can we do a poll, Musiala or Rodrigo? Well, we haven't done any bloody polls today. We need to get that going in the next few streams. Was it Musiala? I always like the polls. Musiala or Rodrigo? Not really the same position, are they? Sunday the 8th, Patriots, Seahawks. Love the Super Bowl stream. We've been... How many Super Bowl live streams have we done? Must be about 5 or 6, maybe even more. I love it. Love it. Matty says they placed a bet on Arsenal to win 4-0. I'll tell you what, if Everton equalise, I'm in trouble. If Wolves equalise, it'd be great. It's absolutely pissing it down in Leeds. Wolves have just hit the post, apparently. Musiala's battered Rodrigo. I tell you what, I'll do a proper poll here. Either or. Let me think of 2 players that are very close. Raya or Alisson? Another corner to Arsenal. Oh, they should have scored. Calafiori, free header. 3-header. Do you think Liverpool will beat Newcastle? Yes. I don't know why, because every time I predict Liverpool are going to win, they literally just don't perform. Yeah, still 1-0 to Bournemouth against Wolves, 6 minutes to go. Still 1-0 to Brighton against Everton, 8 minutes to go. And 9 minutes to go here. Arsenal 3-0 up against Leeds. Early team news coming in for the Chelsea game, which we are going to be live for. Those teams are out, and I can tell you that Chelsea line up with Sanchez, Gusto, Chalobah, Badiashile, Hato, Fernandes, Caicedo, Palmer, and then Gittins, Delap, and Garnacho. So he's rotated quite heavily there because Pedro played very, very well against Napoli. He finds himself on the bench. Neto's on the bench as well. Fofana, Cucurella on the bench. So Reece James on the bench. So a lot of rotation there from Rosignol. I think sometimes you can say too much rotation, but a lot of rotation for sure. And although I think, to be fair, Fofana was at fault for 2 of the goals the other night. West Ham, Areola, Wan-Bissaka, Mavropanos, Todibo, Al-Hadji, Fernandes, Soucek, Pablo, Bowen, Somerville, and Castellanos. So, look, London Derby, have Chelsea made too many changes there? 2-0 to Brighton! That's all I'm going to say. It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. Robbie said draw. Goldbridge said Brighton. Come on, Wolves, equalise. You've got 5 minutes. Breathing space there. Breathing space. 2-0. Brighton. I don't know what that actually does with regards to the Premier League table. Puts Brighton up into 9th place, joint 8th with Brentford, 33 points. Oh, it's been disallowed. See, spoke too soon. Spoke too soon. You know what's going to happen? Late Everton equaliser. Get ready. If Spurs don't win the Champions League and Bayern does, do you think Kane gets a Ballon d'Or? If Spurs don't win the Champions League and Bayern does, do you think Kane gets... Why, Jade, why does Spurs have anything to do with Kane getting a Ballon d'Or? Just because he's on there, just because Spurs are on his Wikipedia page, it's got nothing to do with that, him winning a Ballon d'Or. Will you be entering the Royal Rumble? I'd love to do the Royal Rumble. Why did you stop doing the FC26 this year? Says Urat. It's not the first time I've stopped doing a career mode, mate. You have to stop at some point. Anna, who says I've stopped? I might just be taking a break. Ross and Rachel FC. Form equals rare, career equals Allison, says a true gent. Well, it's 51% to 49. I tell you what, a West Ham win today would put a cat amongst the pigeons, wouldn't it? With 3 points off Leeds. I think West Ham will go down with Burnley and Wolves, but winning the last 2 games just shows you that West Ham seem to have turned a bit of a corner. And maybe, just maybe, they can get out. Light Through Chaos says, wasn't Coventry 12 points clear at one point? They're now level on points with Middlesbrough, separated by goal difference. I nominate Sada. Let's have a look. Championship. Yeah, they're 5. Wow, it's not looking good for them, because if Hull win their game in hand, they'll only be 2 points off Coventry. Coventry could end up in the playoffs. They've only won 2 of their last 6. Coventry. So they are in trouble. All right, bro. What's your problem? Oh, 4-0 to Arsenal. Jesus. I told you. I bloody told you. I said in the first half, Arsenal never beat anybody 4-0. And here they are, beating somebody 4-0. And it's Jesus who's done it with a goal. He's on the phone. He's been doing that for years. Call me. Maybe get a new one. Maybe like do Skype me or something. Not Skype. No. Zoom me or something, you know. Yeah, the jinx is real. I did say it at 2-0. I bet they're going to go and win 4-0 now. So Jesus with the goal. 4-0 to Arsenal. Huge boost to their goal difference as well. I still think it's been a very pragmatic win, but you can't knock 4-0, can you? I mean, I don't 4-0 you'd go, wow, must have been a great game. They've just picked Leeds off, really. Odegaard, lovely ball. I'll tell you what, it's a good play by Jesus as well. It's a good goal. That's a very good goal. The way he holds the striker up, quick feet, lovely finish. Teams get destroyed when they open up against Arsenal. I think this is a very good point, NAU. Very good point. They will hurt you. They will find you. And they will hurt you. Clarification, Spurs are my favourite to win the Champions League, says Jade. However, if that does not happen and Bayern win, do you think Kane gets the Ballon d'Or? Could be 5. Still could be 5. Why did Martinelli not shoot first time? It's gone for a corner. Bournemouth are 2-0 up, so we're not going to get a late equaliser there. Right, I just need Brighton to hold on now. My heart's getting a little bit concerned. But Krupi, I don't know whether he scored the second goal, but it is 2-0 to Bournemouth. Anyone remember this? When I was a kid and I lived in Nottingham, you'd get the news at 5 o'clock, and then at 5:10, they had the goals show, and they'd show you all the goals from, except for Premier League. That's a ridiculous edit, isn't it? And that was before the internet. And also, my granddad at 5:30 would go to the newsagents and get the Football Post, which would have write-ups on all the games and all the local scores as well. Incredible. Maybe it was more 6 o'clock, but he'd get in the car and go and buy something called the Football Post, which would have all the results in it and a write-up an hour afterwards. It wasn't on the internet, it was on written paper at the local newsagent. Incredible speed. Yeah, very good win for Arsenal, fair play. Very good win for Bournemouth. Areola's had a bit of a bounce back. Scott with the goal. I just need Brighton to win. I just know Everton are going to equalise. Start, bench, sell. Baleba, Stiller or Wharton? I'll sell Baleba, bench Wharton, start Stiller. Andy. Frankfurt lost 3-1 to Leverkusen. Leipzig lost to Mainz. Bloody hell, that's a big shock. Mainz have beaten Leipzig at Leipzig 2-1. Massive shock, that. Hoffenheim have won against Union Berlin. They're doing very, very well. And Augsburg have won again. Having beaten Bayern last week in Bayern, they've just beaten St. Pauli 2-1. So we're nearly into stoppage time here. Teletext was great. Yeah, different time. Do you reckon Cunha is better than Jesus? Yes, Amit. I think Arsenal fans would agree with that. 3-0 United win tomorrow. I mean, to be honest, I'd take any win, but I think I went 3-1. I used to love at putting Football Focus on at about this time on Grandstand, and then they'd go through all the results with the music. You can still watch it on YouTube, like be Steve Ryder or Bob Wilson. Diddle-oo, 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 diddle-oo. It'd be like, and Arsenal got a 2-1 win against Sheffield Wednesday at Highbury with a couple of goals from Ian Wright, keeping them right in the title race. Do-do-do, do-do, do-do-do, do. Oh, just a different time. Just a different time. Or if you're out on a Saturday afternoon with your parents in town and it was about 4:45, you'd always go and find like a Dixon's to look through the window and get the scores. I was saying this morning. I said, like, on a Saturday morning when between the age of 12 and 16, most Saturday mornings, me and my mates would get the bus into Nottingham, McDonald's lunch, spend an hour in Virgin Megastore looking at the computer games, playing some games, listening to music. That was Saturday morning between like 10 and 2. Then you'd come back, get down the park. Love it. Newt says, we beat them 5-0 this season, so I'm not surprised. Who? Who did you beat 5-0? Another corner to Arsenal. Is Bob Wilson still alive? I would imagine so. I mean, you never know, but I think he is. Brighton and Everton is still going on. Yeah, I think I would have been. I think I would have known if Bob Wilson had passed. Steve Ryder's still. I mean, not Steve. Yeah, Steve Ryder. Oh yeah, he's 84. He's still here. Ex-Arsenal goalkeeper as well. He's not been on the telly for a long time. I am doing the Chelsea game. Yeah. Bit of pushing and shoving there with Calafiori and a Leeds player. It's over at the Molineux. Wolves lose again. Bournemouth 2, Wolves 0. I mean, how soon can they get relegated? I mean, I'm not in a rush. They are 17 points from safety, which is basically 6 wins. Oh no, they've still got a few games yet, because there's still 14 games to go. Still going at Brighton. Yeah, Wolves are gone. Wolves are gone. Are you going to do a match reaction? I might. You know what? I might do a match reaction, because if Leeds had got a result, it would be bottle jobs. And a lot of people won't give Arsenal credit. And I think I might do. It is all over here. Well done to Arsenal. Fantastic win for them. Give them the credit. They've been good. They've been dominant. And they've conquered. So fair play to Arsenal. Big win for them. Teletext was so awesome back in the day. It was just for football. I got movies, video games, music all in one place, basically. Old gen information. I used to love Blockbuster. Remind me of this on the West Ham thing. We'll talk about that, because it's more than a couple of minutes. Just say Blockbuster when I start the next stream. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to do a quick match reaction, and then we're back here at about 5:15, 5 for the Chelsea game. I'll speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for watching.